Well, hello, Practicum students. Here we are at the start of week 9 in the semester. Technically, the spring break doesn't count within our 16 weeks that we have, and oh, what a difference a week makes. Last week, we were feeling pretty sure that we were going to be closing the physical school, and obviously, we did close the physical campus. Mercy College is staffed by just a few people, I think 2 to 3 people every day on a rotating basis to keep various systems running. But that's from the physical side. So obviously, welcome to my home office. We're all doing home office mode right now. And part of that is, dressing a little bit more casually. And I decided to grow a beard for everybody. So there you go. While we're in kind of the hunker down mode with the COVID-19 crisis. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the changes. I mean, obviously, with this practicum, we went from this traditional experience to really changing day by day. So right now, I've gotten some feedback from some of you that are out there, and just to recap again, if you haven't seen any of the emails or watched any of the videos, you are not allowed to go to practicum. Okay, no one's going to practicum for the rest of the semester. That's pretty much a done deal. The and also the practicum sites are also shutting down any of the students. They probably have all shut them down at this point. So no students allowed in practicum at all, and 95% to the end of the semester. Okay, so faced with that, what are we going to do in order? You're very concerned about getting hours in, making graduation, and all of that. So what we've come up with is this field-based research part that you could do. And if you should have already reached out to your preceptor, okay? And your preceptors are going to be very busy as well. They're out in healthcare. They're being told to go home, or they're working extra hours or whatever. But please try to get a hold of your preceptor. Be very respectful of their time. They're getting crazy crushed, just as you are probably, as well as most of you are all. Well, you're all healthcare workers, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But so be very succinct. Be very when you do talk to them, make sure you get all your bases covered with them, okay? Because they may not be able to talk to you again for quite a few weeks. Now, again, all your individual situations are different. But what you want to do in this phase, again, physical practicum is done. We're not doing that. So it's going to be field-based research. You're going to reach out to your preceptor and determine what to do. Okay. Now, I gave you a suggestion last week that a white paper might be the route to go. Come up with a topic that you both agree on that can help the department that you're precepting in, and that can help you in an area that you have interest in, and write a white paper, usually solving a problem that they have using evidence-based information out there. Okay. That's one route you can go. By all means, I don't want you to think that's the only route you can go. Some of you have reached back to me and said, I talked to my preceptor and he or she wants me to do this, 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 and this. They got me doing all kinds of stuff from home. Great. If your preceptor can work with you at a distance, doing some meaningful work for them. I mean, in this one particular case, it sounded like this preceptor was really needing the students' help in some of this stuff that can be done at home. That's fantastic. So be flexible, in how you want to approach that. Again, make sure it's a win-win for both of you in whatever you're doing. So it doesn't need to be a white paper. It doesn't need to be, something like like a paper that would need to be developed. It could be other stuff that you're doing for your preceptor. I am totally okay with that. What we'll need to do, though, is kind of quantify what you're doing. So if your preceptor has you doing stuff, okay, you're researching stuff for them, you're not going the white paper researching a problem route, okay, you're going in a different route. And producing information kind of specifically for them and whatever their need is, log your hours just like normal, okay? If it takes you 5 hours to find something that they need, fine. But you log your hours. If you're going kind of the traditional, I'm kind of writing this white paper approach, that's the one where, we tried to come up with a formula for how much research time it takes to write a white paper. And that's where we got the four to one, So every one page equals 4 hours. Now that's if you go the white paper route. Some of you are doing this other stuff with your preceptors, digital, virtually. And you may not be producing pages of written material. So that's where you just have to go back to the regular way of documenting your hours. If it takes you 5 hours to work on something, whatever it is, document those hours on your log sheet. If you're going the white paper route, we're going to do the 4 to 1 ratio, okay? So there you go. All right, so hopefully that, I don't want you to be totally locked in like, well, Chris said a white paper and I got to do that. No. Find something that works for you and your preceptor. We're totally flexible with that. All right, so that covers that. Now, what I would like you to do, some of you have, you've emailed me your initial ideas, but the ideas are already starting to change with your preceptor. That's okay. I'm not going to get all twisted up on it. But I do have another request for you, and I'll show you in just a moment. And we're going to change everything about this course and how we're doing it. So like some of the progress journals, we're going to be moving that into something else. So just even the way that we're going to do the student evaluations at the end, where your preceptor evaluates you and you evaluate your preceptor, all that's going to have to change a bit. So be flexible with that. I appreciate your flexibility. What's not going to change is some mechanism for us documenting these hours, because we're kind of locked into that thing. So continue with your log sheets to record that, okay? If you produce the 1 page, you got the 4 hours. If you spend a bunch of time doing other kinds of stuff for your preceptor, log those hours in there as well. All right, now let's talk about, I'm going to jump in here to the course. So typically I don't use this have not used the preceptor, have not used the Canvas shell that much for this course, but we were initially just kind of doing everything primarily through email. Going to shift that, and we're going to drive everything through the Canvas shell, the Canvas course. Here's the odd part. This really isn't an online course. So it's a field experience course, but we're morphing it a bit in order to reach the learning objectives. So here we go. We're going to be using the course a lot more. So do think of it more in a traditional online course format, which I think some of you wanted anyway. So we're going to go with that. So notice that, we have this block down here, the spring 2020. We're basically done with that section, okay? That was the traditional drop boxes that we were using for logs and stuff. We're going to go to this field-based research. I'm just going to call it that for now, even though some of you may be doing something different other than field-based research with your preceptors. But we're going to use this new module, this new section here going forward. Practicum updates. So videos like this are going to be located in the Practicum updates section. I want you to check the Practicum updates, every couple times a week. Okay, look for any videos that I may have in there. I'm going to send this one out through email, then hopefully drive everything back into the course versus email. Okay, now that we're kind of switching modes a little bit. So please kind of drive everything back into the course, go into the course, look for any Practicum updates in this particular area here. So this will probably be the last video I'll send you a link through email, okay? And so here's your one assignment for this week. If, again, some of you have already emailed me, but things have already changed with what you originally did, just give me a quick little update this week on what you're working on. If you're doing a white paper, great. spend a couple sentences, hey, I'm doing a research paper, a white paper concerning, radiation practices of radiation protection for the department, whatever, whatever that might be for that department. Great. Or you can just say, hey, I'm working with my preceptor. He's having me research COVID-19 stuff, whatever it might be. Spend only less than a paragraph, okay? 2, 3, 4 sentences telling me what you're working on as of the end of this week, okay? I understand that may change for you in a couple of weeks. I'm not going to get twisted up on that. If your preceptor says, hey, I really need you helping me here, I need you to help me here, that's fine. Go with it, All right, but if you could, give me a recap on what you're working on as of the end of this week. And that's it for this week, okay? If you're logging hours, don't forget to continue to log your hours as per normal. All right. So I know a lot of you are healthcare workers, obviously, and some of you may be doing additional demands at work, okay? Or even if you're an administrative capacity, kind of like myself, you're being sent home and your kids are home and you got all this other stuff going on, okay? I understand this is going to be kind of a difficult time. We're not going to get all twisted up about, I guess, a lot of the minutia of this course. What the big thing is that we're making some kind of documented progress towards the hours that are needed. You all have different hour requirements depending on what we discussed initially. Some of you are doing 40 and some of you are doing 120, and you're all over the place. But as long as we get to that target that we initially set when we talked and the course to which you registered for, that's what we got to do. All right. And how we get there, we got some real big flexibility. Okay. All right. So there's that. The other thing is that a few of you actually mentioned that you want to try to go back out once this is over. That's great, but I'd have it in the back of your mind that it's probably not going to be over by the time that this ends. All of you graduate at the end of the summer, which is August, and the the green light, if you will. When are we going to get the green light to go back out? Is it going to happen in May? I think classes start like May 23rd or right around there, May 22nd. Towards the end of May is when summer semester starts. It's not looking great. So, it's great if you want to go back out, and obviously we're going to give you that option if you want to go back out once we get clearance all the way around from the site, from the college. You're more than welcome to go back out and physically participate, and your preceptor is willing to host you. Physically participate in practicum. But in the back of your mind, I kind of get, the plan is you probably will be completing this thing, digitally for the whole practicum requirement. So just keep that in mind. All right, that is pretty much it for this video. I have posted my cell phone number. If you need to text me, if you've got any questions, that's a great way to get a hold of me. Some of you have used that in the past, but I'm just going to throw that back out there again. So don't hesitate to use that. And remember to start driving. I'm going to drive everybody back into the course versus these emails now, because we're really going into a more traditional, I guess, online course mode from this point forward, at least through the completion of this semester. All right, guys, everybody, stay safe out there, obviously, and try to keep your sanity out there. It's kind of a crazy time, and we'll be flexible, and we'll get through this, and get you that diploma. I know everybody wants to get done; they don't want to stretch this out. And if we all have a little bit of flexibility, we're going to get there. All right, thanks, guys. Everybody have a great week.